So today what I want to do, I know y'all have already seen the skid steer and loading the logs and going out to the road and all that. And I want to keep things fresh for you. So you don't get bored seeing the same old thing over and over. By the way, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And I hope it's about to get better watching our video. Right here is a stack of logs I've already hauled out. That load right there is my second wagon load for today. Okay, and we've got all these logs stacked up right here, and what I want to do is I just want to walk you around for a minute and show you how we've come to this log pile. What I want to do today is I want to talk about common sense logging with draft animals, either draft horses, draft mules, oxen, whatever. Okay, the biggest thing, y'all, when you're logging with animals is you got to have short skids. You don't want to be dragging that timber very far. Okay, we've got the machine, and we've also got mules. We've got a wagon that can haul 500-600 feet. Today we're doing pretty good. We're getting about 600 at a time, and the road's holding us up. We did get rain last night, but the road is holding us up. What I want to talk about though today is I want to talk about how I arrived at this point, because y'all have already seen the stacking the logs on the wagon, getting it out to the landing. So I want to talk about today the most efficient way that we made this pile right here. Obviously, we got a log pile right here. We had 38 logs on this pile, and right over there where the skid steer is sitting was where that log pile was. And we've already hauled it. Like I said, that'll be our second load. But as y'all can see, down through here is where we've been cutting. Now I had to push them tops back to just kind of give us some room in here to where we could work. And it looks pretty rough right now, but I'm gonna fix it with the skid steer here in a little while. But you can see we've cut a tree there, right down yonder. There's another stump on down the way down there. There was a couple of them that was over here behind the log pile. And then there was a couple of them right over in here. Now, the truth of the matter is, that skid steer right there, y'all, cost about $125 to $150 an hour to run it. It's expensive to run, and you don't want to be doing a whole lot of tracking, around with it. We want to maximize our equipment, which is our mules and our skid loader, together in unison as a team, a mixed power operation, if you will. And we want to get the most production we can with the equipment that we have, okay? Now, you can't do this all the time, but when the timber is wide enough sparse, spaced apart, like it is, like right here, I've got a road going through there. So what I did is I felled the trees, I bucked the logs out, and then, see, like right around in there, there's a trail. Let me walk right up here and show you. And then after I got them bucked, I went in with the skid loader, picked them all up, and carried them right over there to that area where we were stacking at. And as y'all can see, it's real close. See, there's a stump. There's part of a tree over there that I cut up. Right here's a stump, and right in here's, where that tree laid. We got all them logs out. But as y'all can see, right over there is our log pile. It's very short, very short. And that's the glory of this wagon is that even though it might be a little harder on man, it's a lot easier on the animals, because they can handle a lot more load at a time and less ground friction. Yeah, they got to kind of scratch a little to get it up out of this hole. It kind of goes uphill just a little going out, but then after that it's fairly flat and kind of downhill at places. So we're able to get 600 feet a turn, which ain't bad with a pair of mules, especially a pair of 1,500-pound mules that weigh 1,500 pounds a piece. Great big old draft horses that were 2,000, 2,200 a piece, you could get probably 800, 900 feet on the wagon if you could get big enough logs. And see, as you see here, that's a 12-footer right there. It don't take many of them 12-footers, and we've got a couple of them on that load over there. There's a couple 12s and 10s and a couple ties. It don't take many of them long logs, y'all, to stack up some sure enough footage. I mean, you can get a heavy load on there if you ain't careful. But my idea of it is, y'all, is that you can come in here with a skid loader and see, like, here's this little old black oak tree. There's a rub mark right there, but I didn't do that with a skid loader. I done that whenever we felled a tree and a limb hit it, okay? So we was able to get in and out through here and not tear up no timber. There's a little young white oak right there. See it? Right over there. It ain't skin up. You can't do this all the time, but in this particular situation right here in this timber, we was able to do this. And it's very, very productive because I can get 2 and 3 logs at a time with the skid loader, bring them right over here, dump them in my log dump. And then when I got them all bunched, get the mules, bring them in, set them on the wagon with the skid loader, and go out to the deck with 600 feet at a time. It's very, very productive. Now, y'all, I cut this timber the day before yesterday by myself, didn't have no help. And I was able to cut it, and that's 40 logs, roughly, 38, 40 logs is what I got cut out of all this timber that I cut. And I think it was about 10 trees. And I done all this on the evening shift in the afternoon because I had my normal job to go to, and then I came to my second job, which is here. I cut 40 logs out in that afternoon and was able to get them stacked on this stack right here with the skid loader all in about 4 hours. And I'm gonna guess and say with them 38 logs, we're gonna be looking at 2,600, maybe 2,800 board feet, roughly. We had a good bit of 10s and a good bit of 12s in that load, or in this bunch. So it's gonna stack up pretty quick. But my point is, y'all, I'm using my assets, which is right there and right there. I'm making best use of my equipment because I'm letting that thing, which is very stout, very strong, I'm letting it do most of the grunt work, which is getting all the logs over here to the stack, and then I'm letting them, where's my log? There it is. I'm letting them get the logs out 600 feet at a time. You know, there's 6 logs on that load right there, and sometimes we'll get 7, sometimes we'll get 9. It depends on how small or big the logs are. But anyway, I'm gonna set y'all up right here on the landing here in a minute. I'm gonna go carry them logs out to the deck. I'm gonna set y'all up on the landing and let y'all watch me kind of get in here and get turned around and let you see kind of how I spot the wagon with the mules. And then once we get the wagon spotted, I'll load it. Probably won't show y'all that because I don't want to bore y'all, you know, running the skid loader, loading the wagon. I mean, y'all seen that already. So what we'll do is I'll let you watch me spot the wagon, and then I'll let y'all ride out to the deck with me and dump a load. Now, y'all, after I get the wagon spotted where I want it, then it's time to kind of just set the wagon up for, you know, to load the logs on. I got to slide my blocks out, get my PV off, get my axe off, get the chain and binder off, you know, and I throw it down on the ground behind the wagon because once you load the logs, you can't get to everything. So, you know, you kind of just got to spend a few minutes, get the wagon set up, get all your blocks slid out, you know, where they need to go and whatnot. And that's what I'm doing here now, and I just kind of wanted to explain what's happening. let's take a ride out to the deck. Put my seat cushion up there. Get my lines. Whoa, now. Maybe I can get out from under all these limbs, y'all. Keep y'all where you can see. Whoop, whoop, whoa. Now one thing I do want to talk about, y'all. Whoa, Alice. Whoa, Alice. Whoa. One thing I want to talk about, y'all, right quick. Whoop. See how they're wanting to go? They think because I got the lines in my hand and that I'm, you know, picking up the line, whoop, that I'm ready to go, and I'm not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make them sit here and make them settle down until I'm ready to go. That's one thing you need to do, because they'll anticipate things. Mules are bad about anticipating, which is good, because it makes them, in my opinion, superior work animals, because they can anticipate what's coming next. But if you don't kind of curb some of it, they'll get to where they'll start doing things on their own, sometimes when you're not even ready. Like right now, you know, me getting up on this wagon, you know, I wasn't ready to go and they're wanting to go. And they're still young. They just got to learn, and the older they get, the more they'll learn stuff. They'll learn how I like to work and all that kind of mess, and everything will be good. All right, so what we got to do, our road goes out and around up through there. So we got to swing them a little bit first and then let them pull at the same time. All right, well, Alice, Jeep, Kate. Jeep, Jeep. All right, get in there. Now they got to lay down and scratch right there. They have to really kind of lay down and scratch, because it's a hard pull getting it out of that hole. Go ahead. You got it. I got a good bit of footage on here. There's every bit of 600, and there might even be 650, because I got a couple 12s on here. Loaded pretty good. Y'all watch that tongue as we go out. I'll make some more points about stiff tongue wagon. Go ahead. You know, there's limbs laying everywhere, and stumps and holes and all kind of mess. You watch that tongue, see how that tongue sways back and forth? It'll do the same thing with a drop tongue. A drop tongue will do the same thing. Every time one of them wheels hits a rock or a limb or anything like that, that tongue will, you know, it'll flop back and forth. But look at them tongue chains up there. Them tongue chains they're not tight, and they're not hurting my mule's neck, none at all. Y'all kind of watch that as we ride out. Y'all see more about what I'm talking about. That's one of the advantages to a stiff tongue wagon, is it's not rough on their neck, especially in rough ground. And logging is definitely rough, because you're gonna be running over limbs and rocks and holes and all kind of other crap. Now it probably don't matter on a little old light people hauling wagon, because you ain't got a lot of weight on there. But you take 600 board feet of hardwood timber, 600 board feet, you figure about 14 pounds a foot. You do the math on it and tell me what you come up with. You know, 600 feet at 15 pounds a foot, oh, that'd be somewhere around 9,000 pounds plus the weight of this wagon. So they're, you know, at 600 board feet, they're every bit of 10,000 pounds, you know, behind them. Now, it's not a dead weight pull because it's on wheels. I mean, as y'all can see, my mules are handling this big load pretty easy. But my point is, all that weight is on the axles, on the wheels, and you see how that tongue kicks around. But with them tongue chains up there on the end of it, and it being a stiff tongue wagon, and them tongue chains, it ain't no big deal. I'm trying to keep y'all out of the trees. All right, go ahead. This is our worst spot in the road, right up here where this this tree broke off at, right here in this little old curve we about to go around. That's the worst spot in the road. But even it hadn't been too awful bad. All right, now G little. You can do it. Go ahead. Quit eating. Tighten up a little. Every time they come to a limb, they want to steal some leaves. Act like they ain't never been fed before. I'll feed them about all they want. We've been still getting some rain, y'all. Still been raining pretty good. But over here on this side of the land, where this road has already been established, it ain't too bad coming in and out, really. I mean, even with these big loads on this wagon, it's still holding us up pretty good. It makes a big difference, if I can explain it like this, y'all. When you've got wheels that don't drive themselves, in other words, if they're not spinning, you know, trying to pull themselves, it's a little easier on the ground as far as digging down. You know, with this wagon deal, the mules are pulling it, so the wheels are just kind of rolling. And rolling wheels versus spinning wheels is a little different on how it tears up the ground. But now, make no mistake, if you do get in some soft stuff, this daggum wagon will set down on you. I've had it stuck probably 5 or 6 times since I've got it. So it can be stuck. A lot of times you just roll some logs off to the side and roll a couple logs off and keep on getting it. And then later on come back and get the logs and load them back on the wagon. It's a little bit downhill right through here. And I showed y'all this the other day. But for those of you that hadn't rode along with us, you'll get to see it. Right there is where we were coming out a couple videos ago. It's actually shorter to where we're in there logging at, but dadgum, it's a mess. It is a mess. Wagons go down out of sight. And you can't get but about 150, 200 board feet on the wagon at a time, and it just ain't worth it. You know, now we're getting 3 times as much on the wagon, and we're having to go a little further, but we're getting 3 times as much every turn, so it pays to go the long way around. Another thing I want to tell y'all about mules. Y'all look how my mules are walking. They're kind of short stepping. And what that translates into as far as pulling power is concerned, it's kind of like having a truck that's geared low. You know, they're not as fast. They don't take near as long a stride. They take shorter steps, but they don't wear themselves out near as fast either. They can last, you know. They can haul these loads right here just about all day. You know, and it's not killing them either. My buddy Jeff Fergie made a comment to me one time, and I thought it was pretty cool. He said a log cart is easy on man, but hard on the animals. A log wagon is hard on the man, but easy on the animals. So, if that makes any sense. A lot easier for them, and you get a lot more footage at a time too. But again, y'all, there's a... Stand up now, let's go. There's a time to use a wagon, and there's a time to use a cart, and then there's a time to ground skid. They all got their places. Now, G, come on around, G. Now remember, we want to leave a wagon width in between these logs. Stand up. Whoa. That'll do. Whoa. We want to leave a wagon width in here so we can dump our logs off. And I'm a little bit wide, but that's all right. We'll take care of it. right, y'all, I'm about done for today. We've got, it was, I believe it was 41 or 42 logs total. It was more than what I had thought that we had. And we found a couple along the way that we brought out too. But anyway, we had them lined up right down through here, going where we dumped them off on the log cart. I went ahead and sorted them into our log piles, and right over here behind us is the ties and pallet wood pile. And then over here behind us over there is red oak grade, and that red oak grade is going to be sold to my father-in-law. He makes swings and rocking chairs, that kind of thing, and that's what that red oak right there is going to go for. So that's pretty cool. And then the mules, they're in the trailer, they're ready to go home. And I've got the skid steer, like I said, I got it out to the deck. I try to keep it up here on the deck to keep limbs and crap from falling on it, and squirrels and stuff messing with it so bad. And also sorting this deck out. I've got some white oak that's down on the trail right inside that gate and goes that way up the fence line. I've got some white oak down on that trail, and I'm gonna get that white oak out, and when I do, I'm gonna put it right over there. I'll probably get it out tomorrow. And then what they'll do is that'll put me up to 1 load of white oak grade, 1 load of red oak grade, and I believe, if I remember right, there's 3 loads of ties. So we're doing all right now. We'll clean the deck up, get ready in here in the hall. I'll try to bring y'all along for that. But the main thing today, y'all, I wanted to reiterate is the use of the cat, the skid steer, to use its strong points are lifting and, working quick in a short area, a small confined area. You can get around good in there. And, the other day I cut those trees, cut that timber, sawed them up, bucked them up, took the skid steer, bunched them, stacked them, did all that in like 4 hours, which was great. And then we got about 5 hours in getting all the logs out here to the deck. So, 8.5 to 9 hours worth of labor, and I got out somewhere in the neighborhood 2,800 board feet. That ain't too bad. And that's using your assets to your advantage. You don't want to put a lot of track time on the skid steer because it's expensive to maintain. But if you can get 3 logs at a time and bunch them up and stack them, you're maximizing the machine. Then on the flip side, let's see, you got this wagon right here, and I got my mules in the trailer. You're maximizing what they can do. They can't lift like a skid steer can. They can't bunch like a skid steer can. But they can pull that wagon through the woods, and you're not tearing up a bunch of timber because your load is narrow versus wide if you had to track it out with a skid steer. And again, you don't want to track out with a skid steer just because you're putting track time on the skid steer. And track time is not a good thing because it costs a lot of money. It's about $125, $150 an hour minimum to run that thing over there. Fuel, the cost of the machine, insurance, everything. It's expensive. And, the mules are a whole lot cheaper to run, plus my mules need working. This rain here lately has hurt us not being able to work. My mules get out of shape. They're just like we are. They get out of shape, and then it's harder for them to do what is necessary when it is time to log. So the roads have been good to us. This road that we've been using, we've been able to haul out some bigger loads. That's really helped us a lot on getting our footage count up. Now we've got some loads to get to the sawmills. They're going to be going different places. This red oak's going to one mill. The white oak could go to another different mill. And then ties over here, they're going to a different mill. So we got 3 different mills we're going to be dealing with all in one lick. And I'm going to tell you, y'all, in this economic situation that we're in right now, you better be, marketing your stuff and checking around, because I tell you what, it's kind of hard times right now for loggers. And all y'all loggers out there that's watching, you know what I'm talking about. Timber prices are down and all your input prices are up. I tell you, it is hard to make a living nowadays. You got to really be getting it, and you got to be frugal too. It's one reason why y'all saw us doing our own work. You got to be frugal, y'all. I tell you. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. All the likes, comments, subscribes. Hey, thank y'all. I love it. I love hearing from you. Some of you tell stories about when you were a child and your grandparents and your dad and your mom, and when you had draft horses, draft mules, whatnot, and grew up in the country. I love hearing about all that stuff. And hey, I'm going to put my email up on the screen. If any of you need me, you know what to do. Send me an email. We'll chit chat. We'll talk. And I'd love to hear from you. So anyway, y'all take care. I'll be praying for you as always. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you next time.